Good afternoon, beautiful people out there. We are very happy to have a very creative lady this afternoon with us. This is Janine Richards from Nini Richi Style Studio here with Yes Exclusive Flowers and a piece of the puzzle. And she's going to tell us also a little bit more about her newest baby that she just created her own blog. So thank you so much for now for joining us and being here with us, Janine.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's a great privilege to be with you ladies, and let's chat. I'm happy to
Yes.
share.
What I think, like, what I would like to know is, first of all, I mean, a lot of people in the Johannesburg and maybe Gauteng area, they know Nini Richi. They may not know Janine Richards because obviously you're pushing your brand. Tell us a little bit about, like, what is Nini Richi, because I know also there is like two divisions of even that brand that you have. How you got into that, and what is actually the meaning of Nini Richi? Like, how did you get to this word composition?
Okay. Well, my name's Janine Richards, so it's Nini Richie. So Janine Richards. So my childhood like nickname was Nini. So yeah, and then my husband and I joined together in the business 13 years ago. So obviously he brought the Richards part. So it's really a combination of the two of us. It's been our baby, our joint venture from the beginning. But essentially, Nini Richi has been. It's been quite a journey. Like I say, we started 13 years ago, and it initially was more my business because I started, first of all, freelancing for 7 years prior to that. And I'd built up a client base, and I'd been styling corporate events for that time. And then my husband joined me with his event management experience, and the two of us together formed our alliances, and we could really focus on things, on different aspects of the business. So I really took on the creative part, and he took on the business part, which really enabled me to soar where I was before, really battling on it, as girl alone on this journey, having to do all the HR and the accounts and all the boring stuff that just boggles a creative's mind. He took it all away from me. Yeah, he took it all away from me. And I was just completely able to focus on styling. And then it just really took off. We've built up an amazing client base. We've got amazing clients. We've had the privilege of styling bespoke corporate events and weddings all this time. The team grew gradually over the years. It was just the two of us, and then there were 3, and then there were 5, and then there were 25. So yeah, it got quite big, and we've been really busy and really blessed, and it's been flowing and going really well. But now things are a little bit different with the COVID situation, and we're not quite sure where we stand, but we're remaining hopeful, and we'll see. But this kind of pause in my life, when all of our lives, has really given us the opportunity to kind of do things differently and think about things differently. And it's always been on the back burner, starting a blog. I mean, I used to blog a little bit on the Nini Richi website, but I just really didn't have the time to dedicate to it properly. But I've always really wanted to start a blog. I love writing. I love different aspects of life. It's not all just about events and and styling. I love food. I love cooking. I love traveling, all that kind of stuff. So I want to bring all of that kind of more holistic view of my life into the blog. I've called it the art of celebrating. Obviously, it's coming from a stylist's background. I'm going to bring a lot of that into it in terms of my knowledge and experience and share all of that. But it's also just about sharing and celebrating all the special things in life, and celebrating moments, celebrating meals together, celebrating family occasions, and facilitating and teaching people how to host events at home, and then right up to hosting a wedding and hosting a corporate event. So right from just an intimate occasion right up to a big event. So that's kind of all that I'm going to cover in the blog. It's a very broad topic, I know, but it gives me a lot of scope to share with what I know and what I do. So I'm quite excited. And I literally launched yesterday. So there we go.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes,
I think you are so well known in your Nini Richi like yeah, business for color and for vibrant colors, for happiness. Actually, like when I remember I saw what you have done before, it was very creative but also absolutely colorful all the time. Will that go also into the new blog?
Absolutely. I mean, this is really an opportunity to kind of express my personal taste and style. So, a lot of client work we get to do, you get to do everything from subtle and sophisticated right up to the bold and loud. So definitely I'm going to establish a very specific brand, a very specific color palette. So, I mean, if you stop by the blog and you'll have a look, the colors that I love are all there. And I'm definitely going to I'm working towards developing a product range and a line of designs where I can bring all that color and fun into it. So definitely I want to attract a following that can relate to me and what I like and my taste, and hopefully they'll like it too and enjoy that. But I do think it's the love of color has really stemmed from the fact that I've had the privilege of really working on a lot of corporate work where brand identity has really been a strong focus, and color and the emotions that color evoke. And brands tend to be far more bold than if you would look at a wedding where it's a little bit more sophisticated and subtle.
Always a please blush bright and white
Yeah.
wedding, and you're like, not another one, please.
No.
Just bring in a pop of color, and even just a pop of color sometimes is scary to couples. So it's always this very muted tones, and you're like, please, like, go out a little bit. But obviously it depends always on the person of like who you are. So there are a lot of people who just love like this blush colors, but I'm very happy to see like color blogging and like, I don't know, pink cerise and turquoise and just
And
like
all together.
yes, all together on one page.
I know that's the kind of color blocking is really what makes my heart leap. I love it. And I mean, if I had to get married over again, I'd do it very differently and have far more color. I mean, our wedding was actually quite bold and colorful by comparison to everyone else's all those years ago. But it, yeah, I
find what color did you use for your own wedding?
I had my main focus flowers were the Phalaenopsis orchids, that purple. So yeah, that was the main. It was an Asian wedding, an Asian themed wedding. So it was really informal seating. So it was quite unconventional for the time. I mean, subsequently, a lot of people having more unconventional setups, but ours was all just like lounging cocktail, very Asian. We had floating canapes and a Thai buffet and a sushi bar, and so. But there was a lot of those orchids everywhere. So it was quite unusual for its time. But yeah, I think I'd go a bit bolder now. But I do find the brides that I've done work for, they're obviously attracted to the style that I'm used to executing. So I have had the privilege of working on quite some fun weddings. So yeah, it depends. I think brides gravitate to stylists who can relate to them and express what they offer. Yeah. So, but I mean, like I say, I've worked.
Sorry, that's why it's great to have so many different options, because as we said, I think multiple times, it's like you choose a dress. Not every like designer is your type that you want to go to, but therefore it's amazing that you can go to either someone who is going more into the blush, more into the modern minimalist, more into the like colors, more romantic, whatever the case may be. I think it's great, and I think it always needs to be authentic. Like if it's you, then it will always come as a beautiful like combination. And when you speak to clients and when you create the event, whether it's for a corporate or for a couple, if you are forced to do something that you don't like, the result will never be the same as if it's something really that you can relate to as a designer and as a person who just needs to do it, because art is something that is no right and wrong. There's no wrong in doing blush like events or weddings, but it is something that needs to come from the heart. And if it doesn't come from the heart, then
it's a signature.
yeah,
actually.
it's a signature. So it's
Yeah.
great. And I know also, I mean, you have also not only like the planning side of things, you're also hiring out a lot of items. So I'm sure you have a warehouse full of like props and colorful things that you can even use to just like share the love that you have for colorful items, right?
Yeah, so I mean, all these years of styling, we accumulated so much decor. And initially, I only used the decor for my own functions that I was styling. But the warehousing space just grew and grew and grew over the years, and it just was the logical next step to start renting it out. And I really identified there was such a need in the market to rent unusual, cool things that weren't readily available. So we launched that. Sure, I can't even remember how many years ago. Maybe 3-4 years ago only. The rental division, and it really took off well. It attracted a lot of freelance stylists, wedding planners, event companies, even caterers, props, people in the TV industry, all that kind of thing. And where we kind of differentiated ourselves from the rental companies that we're around is that we offered this customization service. So we had a lot of items that we were prepared to customize for clients and spray them the colors. So from vases to plinths to arches to, all display units, whatever. There's a whole range of products that we have that we'd customize. And that really gives, a stylist great tools to work with to build something unique for their clients. So yeah, we've got a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember you supported one of our events very nicely with your like a lot of your items, which was an international event, and it was very much appreciated because it was so unique. I mean, you had things that I could nowhere else find, and I think this is what people looking for, like a floral designer or event companies. They look for something that makes the pictures by the end of the day for the client different. Because what I'm always saying, I don't want to have the same chandelier that I have seen on 5 million other pictures of a wedding, just because this is a standard, so you really have this unique items, and I can just encourage everyone to have pay you a visit after like lockdown and to come and have a look, because this is like wonderland, I would say. And I really hope that this business that you have beside your blog will pick up again, and even for private functions, for
small
smaller
home celebrations. And I mean, might be something also that you're gonna cover in your blog, because I mean, the trend that we are seeing is obviously, like, as a start for the event like industry as a whole, there's not going to be huge corporate events happening anytime soon, I suspect. I mean, we're crossing fingers, but it's just like in the nature of the reality that we are in right now. I think everyone is going to be very careful and very very, very hesitant to have like huge events from a corporate side, and even from maybe from a private side. So maybe people consider like rather smaller events, but more in a safer environment. Maybe the per head spend is going to be bigger for a smaller number of guests than larger events. I think is going to be more experience based than any time before. But I think home celebrations is most definitely something that a lot of people are going to look into, because they feel maybe that
safe.
10, 15, maximum 20 people like in their homes, this is what they can deal with, and they don't need to have the risk of maybe going some other place and be exposed to other things. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. I can't foresee corporate policy changing anytime soon. I mean, even if this thing miraculously goes away overnight, I think they may be more hesitant to host bigger events. Anything over 50 people, I don't think they'd even do that. So you're very right. I think our focus does need to be more on home entertainment, and that's really a big focus of my blog. Also, I want to sort of let the cat out the bag yet, because I haven't launched the shop module of my blog yet. But the intention is I'm going to be having an online e-commerce platform built into the blog. I'm currently developing a product line to sell, and obviously it's going to be in line with what I know, and that's decor and entertaining and just kits, but pretty much to facilitate and allow people to do that at home easily. So I'm busy working on it. It's taking so much longer than anything normally would, which has been a bit frustrating because suppliers are just closed, and trying to process an order takes 3 weeks.
Frustrated. Even shopping, normal shopping takes
much longer than ever before.
Yes. It's like you go to Woolworths and it's 4 hours later.
Yes.
Exactly.
What we used to do on the fly, like basically just like hop in, hop out, like just to get something done.
This is a daily job
forever. Like, and I think this is also something that we all need to get used to. But we are like everyone in the event industry, and I think there are also some other industries like food and beverage and restaurant businesses and so on. So they were used to just being busy all the time, so, and you had to fit so many things into your daily schedule that was okay, because in a miraculous way, like looking at it from now, we somehow managed from 6 o'clock in the morning to be busy until, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the night, and then still go on to admin mode to just work through whatever like you couldn't finish in the day. But I personally, or we personally also right now, like feel that things just take much longer than they used to take. And I think that is also a way like that our body somehow readjust and just like say, you know what, right now you can afford also that things take a little bit longer. I mean, most definitely there will be busy times like coming around, hopefully soon. But I think this is also a time where we
have not learned to be patient with ourselves. I think this is something what I learned during the last couple of weeks. I have never been patient with myself, because even if I was on a Sunday or Saturday just sitting for about 10 minutes and doing nothing, I felt guilty. I just felt guilty because I thought I actually have so much to do and I can't sit. And now that we all actually came from about 100 down to 0 in just like one day, I think we couldn't really adapt so quickly. So how actually was this for you? I mean, we have spoken a couple of days before, and you explained this also in a very nice way. And I want to give you like the possibility to tell us like all a little bit about like how this was for you coming down and also like enjoying this in a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, my life was crazy before all of this. We were working hectic hours. I mean, you'd get a brief and literally you'd have to execute a 500 packs function within 3-4 days. And you'd pull it off. And like you say now, I mean, just trying to do one task can take a few days and it feels like you don't achieve anything. But I've really enjoyed just stepping back, slowing down. It's been actually a very healthy experience for me, just being in lockdown, just slowing down. Life was just too crazy, and I really don't think it's healthy. Stress levels are just way too high. Expectations are too high. It's not good on your soul. It's not good on your body. So I think it's been a very good time for self-reflection, seeing what's really important for me, what I want for the future. I definitely don't want to go back to that in its full definition. I don't really know what the future is going to look like for our business and for myself personally yet, but I do know I don't want to go back to that the way it was, because it's unsustainable and it's unhealthy. And I've actually just really, really enjoyed this time. I really have.
Yes,
and I'm getting to do something. Sorry.
There's no reason one needs to be ashamed in saying that, because I think like a lot of people still feel guilty, you know, when they actually say it, because I mean, by the end of the day, we all know it's a terrible situation on one side to be in, because I mean, it's a worldwide pandemic that we are still like in right now. So it's not something that we all chose for ourselves to be in. But I think for a lot of us, it was just the right time to be in, because to just focus and see like what do we want to achieve and how do we want to go from this point onwards to go anywhere what we have in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had so many dreams and desires and things to do. And like I say, one of the things on my wish list was to write a blog, and it just was never possible. Never. I never in a million years would I've had time. And it's been time intensive to get it together, you know. So and there's a lot of other things I want to do with my life. And it's my work career has just been all about work. And there's a lot more to it, you know, to life than that. So yeah, I mean, you know, the tragedy has hit us personally. It's affected us in a really real and hard way. There's all of that, but I think, you know, if you just have a positive mindset, you can turn situations that are bad into situations that are good, you know, and see the best in things and celebrate everything that's celebrate the good things in your life. Yeah.
And I think like this is what I mean, like when I said this was a wake-up call, because let's say the most of us in our industry have been like in a hamster wheel, you know, you move on and the wheel is just like moving
and not
moving on faster and faster and faster, and sometimes you just want to jump out, but you can't. And now all of a sudden it was a stop, and like we haven't stopped it because nobody of us would have been possible to stop it in a certain way. So this situation where we are in, and you said something really good also, we all had, after this shock, time to reflect. And I think we never had time to reflect, because when you had time, you went to bed for a couple of hours and then you woke up and you went back to your hamster wheel, you know. I think this time of reflection, and we saw it also like on our own situation. So we said like, what was a crazy time actually, and what we don't want to go back, or where we don't want to go back, what we want to achieve. And I think also what you said, so important, life is much more than just work, you know. And we have experienced that we haven't really lived. I mean, even though that we were traveling and this and that, but life is much more. And I had time the last couple of weeks or months already to speak to my friends, wherever they are, and they were like, oh wow, we can talk for half an hour or even longer, and you have time for that, you know. I never had time to talk to them. So I think this is something really important, what I want to take over to my new life actually.
And also, I mean, it's been amazing what you two have done with this broadcast, is like opening up the conversation in the industry. I think it's fantastic. We never would have taken the time. Like if you said to me, Janine, I need to talk to you for an hour online, I'd be like, what, when? It's like not possible. So it's really fantastic. And it's been lovely to listen to the broadcast and see the faces behind the brands and hear the stories behind the brands. And we're having conversations on different levels. So it's really opened up conversation, which I think is a really beautiful thing. So yeah, well done for that.
Yeah, thank you. And this is what we actually also want to start, because we see this in other parts of the world, that people talk together, they form like connections, networks, alliances, not misunderstood with clicks, you know, like that's a totally different thing. And they work together for the benefit of each other. And I think we in our country, we have to learn in a lot of ways to work that way. I mean,
for the benefit of everyone.
yes, for the benefit of everyone. I see this in particularly in America. They have this is like a culture. They work together, they stay together, they celebrate together. And that's why it works. I think a lot of people even ask us why we are doing this, why we would talk to people that our competitors, why we would disclose information. I said, listen, this is not a problem for me. I mean, we have nothing to hide. I mean, like everyone that we are talking, everybody can talk to. I mean, it's not a secret that we give away, but it might be a novum that we open up discussions with people that maybe some people would not contact, because of they might be afraid, or they don't see a benefit in talking to them. But I think I also got to know people that we were talking to in a very much different way. I mean, a lot of people very well, but some others maybe not so well. You know their business, you know what they do, but you do not really know the person behind. And talking to them, for me, it was like we got a closer relationship. I mean, even just by talking like for half an hour or an hour to them, and I got a better understanding for where they're coming from, what is their story, what is their situation, how they feel and how they think. And I think this is exactly what we need in our industry. We don't need to talk about each other. We have to talk to each other.
Yeah. And coming back maybe to your blog, I have seen like you have 100 followers, which I want to congratulate you, and I want to ask as many people out there maybe to follow you on your new blog. Just tell them again, like where can they, like how can they find the blog if they're interested in following you?
Okay, so the blog's email address is www.theartofcelebratingblog.com. I'm also with the same title on Instagram and Facebook, The Art of Celebrating Blog. So yeah, you can follow me there.
Okay. And
I've also got links on my other old pages.
We just spoke about this, and I think this is right now very important also for a lot of people out there, because we hear this word pivoting or like reinventing yourself or looking for something that you can do, while we all know that, as you said, big events are not going to be happening anytime soon. How does it feel like for you now as Janine Richards to come out with this new baby? Like you need to try. I mean, you like for a long time. I mean, 13 years now. People know you under Nini Richi. They know what you're doing. You are quite successful in what you're doing. I mean, I have seen your work. It's amazing. Yeah. I've seen you at the Top Wedding Vendor Awards, where you have won, and I think you've won multiple times. And so it's like, I mean, you have a really like background also, but now you come out with this new baby, like your passion baby, maybe I call it. And you need to like regain trust, and you need to like regain followers for this. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's quite humbling. Yeah, you've built up this track record, like you say, and now you're starting everything from scratch. And yeah, like I say, it is quite humbling, but it's also very exciting. It's just like a blank slate, starting from the beginning. Because Nini Richi really evolved, well, it's been a 20-year journey really, from freelancing into that, so sort of spilt into the formal business. Nothing was really defined or planned. Life kind of happened to me, and doors opened here and there and doors shut here and there. And I never planned my journey. I'd never had a defined dream. So even if I had this discussion with you, like, if I look back on our Instagram feed of Nini Richi, it's like kind of all over the place, because I've had multiple stylists working for me. They've all got different styles. We work for hundreds of clients, all with different brands. And it's just like all over the place, and we are able to work in many different styles and niches, which is cool. But what's really refreshing with starting from scratch is I can really define my own personal brand and have a look and a style and go with that. And yeah, I've got to start from scratch, and everybody started somewhere. So it's refreshing and exciting and a challenge. So I'm up for it. Yeah.
That's
It's
great. And I
wonderful.
think that's also a very positive message, because I do know that a lot of people also like pondering, you know, like, should they start something new? Like in which space are they in right now? Does it have a future, what they're doing now? And I think right now is like the right time to even try something new. You're going to find out if it is something that is going to pan out the way how you wish it's going to be, or whether not. Like it cannot get worse from this moment in time, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always fall back onto what you had, but I
Mm.
think right now, if you have something in mind that you want to try out, it is the right time, because you have the time to dedicate also to something, to maybe, like, as you maybe like do, you needed to learn a new skill somehow, you know, to like set up your blog, and it's time consuming. Usually you would have maybe even like given it and outsourced it, you know, say to a web designer, do it for me. Now you're gonna sit there on your like own, and you have to do this all by
But that
yourself.
also connects you much closer to your
Yes.
baby, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it ended up being something quite different to what maybe I would have briefed the designer to do for me. Had a rough plan and briefed someone, and then they would have come up with something. But really, as I learned the back end skills, I would design as I'd go, and then just populate it and kind of just evolved into what it ended up being. So it was quite a fun, creative design journey for me. But yeah, to go back to your point about trying to figure out what else you can do. What I've done is, I mean, obviously I've gained a lot of diverse skills doing styling. An event stylist has a lot of different things that they touch on. You know, there's floristry, there's planning and coordination, time management. I've really honed my graphic design skills and manufacturing skills and that kind of stuff. So I thought, now what can I do on the online space? Because that's kind of like where we have to go, online business, using those skills where before I would create and enhance an environment with my styling and decorating skills. I can't do that anymore because people are not allowed to gather. So how can I use those same skills but in the online space? So I mean, one of the services I'm currently offering is social media content styling. So if you go onto my blog under the services section, it'll tell you a bit more about that there. But essentially helping small businesses launch their social media. I'm not really positioning myself as an agency per se who actually does posting for clients. But for instance, I'd be able to set up a shoot their products within a styled environment, so like a lifestyle shot, and create beautiful content for them to post on social media. And I mean, I've already done 2 projects already, and I see how time consuming it is. I mean, it's not only planning the whole setup, getting the products prepped and ready, photographing, editing them, formatting them correctly for social media. I mean, it takes a few days, and people who are actually in the mode of running their business don't have time to produce quality social media content that's styled. I mean, not all brands require styling. I mean, you ladies are doing a fantastic job at your Instagram feed because you've just got beautiful products, easy to take a photo, you're consistently posting stunning stuff, and you've got your own content. But other products that are more abstract, or if they're just selling stuff on an e-commerce website, that's not very exciting because people can't really relate to the product itself.
Launch where you make something for your like Instagram and I mean, now what comes handy now obviously is your warehouse. You know, you have a full like warehouse of beautiful items that you can like use according to whatever like brief you have or whatever product you have to fit it in with the style and the styling idea what you have.
And
so
you know,
amazing.
I totally relay on what you're saying, that a lot of people have no time or maybe no clue. We call it actually our 5th job, like by a funny wording, because we mostly do this like at night or when like now also on the daytime, but when we have like fully worked, we had no time during the day. So that's why when we were finished with work, we said, okay, now we're going to go to the fifth job, to
Yeah.
just
Yes.
to do
Social media,
social media is
this
a job,
is a
actually.
job. People underestimate a lot,
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
how much time needs to go in. And I mean, in no way like we are like
Not professional.
like professionals, or we do styled content in a way. For us, it's really like come as you go. So like we get in the flowers and we're gonna do this, and we're obviously gonna present it in a way, but like to have beautiful like content is such a time consuming thing. I can 100% agree that this is also that needs to be paid, as well. Like, I mean, it needs to be like paid in a way to say, okay, fine, first of all, the hired item plus the time plus editing and all the rest. So
and I would trust somebody like you much
Yeah.
more than maybe an agency, let's say it like that, because I know you have an understanding for the industry. You have an understanding for flowers, for decor. For me, you would be an ideal person, much more ideal than any other like agency that might be maybe more professionally in technical or technical wise. But I think somebody like you, for me, would be much more suitable in a business like ours.
And I think this is comes handy, like you are small, I think in this still media world, when you are small, you can just change things and come up with ideas in a complete different way than if you were running a big agency. So yeah, and you have your own things. This is, I think, the big benefit of your business idea right now, is that you have a wealth of stock, like
A
product.
wonderland.
Yes.
A wonderland.
like
Yeah.
like we are in the candy, like we are like walking into a candy shop when we see like all this beautiful stuff for events or for just setups that you can use, and then like obviously have also a different return on investment over time. Because for you, I mean, coming back on the economic side of things, it's one thing to have all those beautiful things. The other thing is you don't know when you're going to use it again for events. So you obviously have to think of like what you can do right now to like make use of it in the meantime.
Yeah, the challenging thing is like, let me just take a few steps back. What we intend on doing when the lockdown restrictions relax a bit, we're going to convert a section of our warehouse into a studio. So currently we're shooting products at home in our home studio. It's a little bit small, so I can't really do larger scale product shoots here. But there I've got all the backdrops, flooring, furniture, props, all that kind of stuff there. I want to create up set up a whole studio shoot area with an infinity curve, separate little like mock lounge scenes, bathroom scenes, kitchen, or like all like lifestyle home scenes that are permanently set up there. And so if I work with a cosmetics brand, I can use the bathroom setup a lot, and then just pull in the props. They're right there. Interesting thing is that we don't have like one vase of a style. We have like 50 vases of the style. We only need one for the shoots, and it does take an incredible amount of space storing all the stuff. But I mean, we are in a privileged situation where we can just hang on to our stock now in the warehouse without having to get rid of it. I mean, I know there are a lot of companies that are in a situation where they're renting and they need to get out, and they've got a lot of stuff and they need to get rid of it. So we're not in that place, which we're very grateful for. So stuff can just sit there, we can store it, and we can decide what we're going to do with it. But we can use our samples from our showroom to do the shoots, absolutely, which is perfect because we've got so much. I mean, we've got over 5,000 products on our catalog.
Wow.
So there's a lot to work with. So it's great. And I look forward to just getting in the workshop and just getting that setup done so we can scale up a bit.
Definitely. And I think there will be new product launches. There will be companies, they move on. And I think things like that will be needed. I don't see actually a huge problem in that. I think there is a demand. And also what you just said a minute ago, you have not to worry about your warehouse. And I know this was also something you made a couple of years ago, a very strategic actually decision, which actually comes out very positive right now. And I think also for a lot of people in these days, they might actually also go in a different way to survive and to think about the future, because hiring a big warehouse and being dependent on landlords and things like that is 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 one solution. But like you can sit back, relax a little bit, because you have made another decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
audio.
that yeah, you have somehow like your space, which is safe for the next like 2 years, as you said. I
Yeah.
think that was a decision you made like long before, and it was a future orientated a decision. That's what
Yeah.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah, no, we're very grateful that we made that decision. It was risky at the time, and it impacted cash flow,
I
because
know.
obviously we had to spend a lot of money to get ourselves into this position. And then 2019 hit, which, the global recession, it definitely affected the event industry and our business. So it all just seemed like we'd done the wrong thing at the time, but actually it's turned out in our favor now, and I'm very grateful that we don't have to lose our
Yeah,
stock
what I
and
wanted to say is
move out.
actually to invest in your business, even if it sounds at the moment sometimes maybe not
Crazy.
or crazy, that it pays off at a certain time.
Yeah.
Still
I'm
there?
having a bit of audio problem. I'm losing half of what you're saying.
Yeah, I also it was a bit like frozen. I'm sorry. Can you hear us again?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Just
Yeah, okay. Well, I think, for me, what I wanted to do with this platform is to give some inspiration to people. And I think you, as now Janine Richie, because now everyone knows also the person behind Nini Richie, at least one person behind Nini Richie, is to bring in some positivity, like, into this rather still like dark moment that we are all in. And I really thank you for sharing like your story with us and also your vision, because I think it's very important, at least for me or for us, to show people, that life will go on, business will resume. There are visions that need to be lived. And life is beautiful and it's colorful, like, I mean, and you hopefully are going to show us how colorful life is and how colorful celebrations can be. And we're gonna follow you. And
definitely. We
we
are
are
one of the 100.
yeah, we are one of the 100
Thank
already.
you for liking my post.
And I hope that and I think maybe this is also something. I think we all can do something without having to pay a lot of money in this time, and this is giving people attention. This is giving people likes. This is sharing content of other people. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind in that way and to support other people, because by the end of the day, and this is why we call it the piece of the puzzle, we are all related in one way or the other to each other. We cannot make it alone. Like, we need someone who supplies us, we need someone who buys from us, and we need partners and like relationships that help us along the way. And I think this is specifically like now, right now, everything that you post, you are so much more happy when you see feedback or when you hear someone like is commenting or when you read something, and if it comes from an honest space, and when you really read that someone is authentic and it's really like they're really happy for you or they really like what they see, this is all that matters right now, because I mean, there will be time where we all going to be selling stuff and where we'll be like celebrating and where like we're going to get our orders back in. But right now is just the time to be kind and to support each other. And I think this is what we want also with this platform. So
Yeah.
we thank you for being here, Janine. And much love and much luck
And
for
thank
your
you for
venture.
being so brave to start completely something new.
Yes.
I really appreciate that, and we will definitely follow your journey. And don't feel pressurized about that. I think it goes as it goes. You know, it goes as life goes. It goes up, it goes down, it goes straight. I think this is also a message that we want to send out. Nothing in life just goes
According to plan.
exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes we just have to change the plan.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Thank
stay
you for the
safe.
encouragement.
All the best, and we're gonna see what you're gonna come up with soon. And I hope, like, I really want to see, like, what is your own first post in your warehouse with your props in color blocking like theme, and I'm gonna definitely share that
And
one.
if you need some color popping flowers,
Let us know.
let us know.
Absolutely.
Okay, Janine, take care.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.